Okay, hey guys. So Kian here, and I'm pleased to announce that there have been a lot of little fixes for the Megaman Legends 1 on PlayStation Save State Viewer. So we now have Mega Man equipped, which will give you the view of Mega Man with his Buster weapon, his Buster gun, and any special weapons that he may have on him at the moment. And if he has a helmet, well, if he will have a helmet either way. And so I went through and I was able to find most, if not all, of the animations for his character. Now, if they seem a little glitchy, it's because I think it's because the animation controller for the game really breaks it down into a lot of very, very small parts. So, and I think the reason that they did that is because the movement in this game is very, very slick. And so you can, um, I'm guessing that they didn't give a lot of frame or a lot of invincibility frames for a lot of these movements, and so I guess they wanted the option to have to be able to interrupt the character to do knockback or something for a lot of these animations. But as you can see, we've got the jet skate animations, the kick animation, the put down animation, the kick animation, the shoot with the buster animation, shoot to the side with the buster. And this looks weird because it's only because two of his bones are weighted, and the other ones, this is probably while he's moving. And that's it. So we've got the player animations and we've got Mega Man here. And these can both be exported. Uh, what are you doing, Mega Man? All right. Stop it. Okay. And these can both be exported if you hit the save one. It's not included in the save all. I figured it'd be kind of dumb to export Mega Man with all the other batch assets. So if you want to export Mega Man, just hit save one and you can export it. For the EBD files, I cleaned up the animations a little bit. So if you see data back, forth, before for some reason it was getting lagging and stucking on these. And another thing I was doing before was I was just reading the poses in order, and that's not always the case. So in this case, I'm actually reading the times to get the pose number and then reading the pose number in that order. So these, there could be some kind of easing function or some kind of Bezier curve that's going on that's doing the animations. But that aside, at least the animations are in order and they should be smoother, so they should be a decent representation of what's in the game. And if anything needs to be tweaked, then I guess I'll just leave it up for the tweaks to take place out of the editor. But for most of the animations, they seem to work pretty well. If it needs to be tweaked a little bit, I guess they can just be tweaked as needed in whatever editor you're using. As for the um, As for the tiles, I cleaned up the tiles a little bit before. There's a weird thing where the game doesn't really define all the quads that are used in the tiles. So I went back, I checked the offsets, and then I read all the way through, and that seems to have fixed the issue for the quads. In terms for the Z fighting, I there are some ways to go through and automatically do this, but they seem kind of overly time consuming for the amount of impact that would have. So, unless I'm not, yeah, I'll just leave it here. So yeah, I think that kind of, I mean, so in terms of raw assets in Mega Man Legends 1, I think this means that that's it. I mean, there's one kind of huge elephant in the room, and that is getting the stages exported. And so that I don't. I'm tempted to. No, so, oh no, conflict. I'm tempted to. Um, mm, all right, I'm tempted to kind of move on and look at a certain other game. But I guess I'll just take the time and see what I can do about tile position and to see if there's any way to read the information from the game and how the game modifies it and just kind of get it, just kind of best effort to see if we can get the tiles for the game and how they're sorted out. Unless I do something stupid like make a tile editor for Mega Man sometime. Yeah. Okay, so enough on that end. So I'm going to go through and give a quick introduction of the two small things I do know about positions in Megaman Legends, and we will go here and we will paste that in here. So this is the position of the MDT, and for any stage it'll be 164000. And specifically, we are in, well, I want to get the right one. We are in Apple Market, and we are facing the north door. So if we go to here, the north door is tile number 5. Now what we can do is, and the other thing to mention is the north door is a large size tile. So it's not one of these tiny tiles. Oh, I can actually do it in a second. If I so replace and I hit 80 and write it and then load the game. Didn't that? Hey, got maybe 81. 81. 8. Right. Write the game. Load the game. Wait, is that not loading? Emulator. Load states. Slot 1. There we go. Okay. So I guess it actually wasn't even loading the state. So if we write 81 to this, we can see that all of a sudden a grass tile pops out of nowhere. And then we can come in here and hit 81 and write that. And two things should happen in this case. Oh, my shortcut isn't working. Damn you shortcuts. Load state, slot 1. Okay, so two things happen when we do this. Another floor tile appears, and then all of a sudden the Apple Market thing disappears. So what I think is going on is when a tile has a height of 0, what the game does is it looks up the double size tile in the IDX list. Now what that means is, I'll show you in a second, but basically what that means is floor tiles are 1 by 1, and if a tile has a height, it says use a floor tile, and it'll go and draw a floor tile at that position. If the height is 0 and it has a tile, that means that the game is using a larger set piece or a double-sized tile. And what that means is the game goes to the IDX file, which is located at 15C000, and each one of these entries has 3 D words. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our fifth, our north gate entry should be here. So what we can do is we can hit escape once, we can hit load state slot 1, and this should make sure that we're back to our default state. Now what we can do here is to make sure that we are looking at the right thing is we can comment this out, and if this disappears, then we know that we are indeed looking at the definition for the north gate. Load slot 1, boom, and everyone's dead. So the north gate's gone. All right, now we can come back here, and now we can start playing with it a little bit more. This F2 is some kind of property. I have no idea what it does, but I do know what this is. This is 0D and this is 01, and these will control the X offset and Z offset of the tile. So we can change this to 0C. And since our key shortcuts aren't working, we can escape, and then we can go emulator, load state, slot 1. And we can see that the tile moved back by half a slot. And so that's what's going on. So in terms of double-sized tiles, the condition is when the height is 0, check the index. The index will be in IDX, and the IDX is in 15C000. The first tile is always 0. So if you hit 0, 0 to comment out a tile, it'll have a height of 0, and it says, okay, look at the absolute, or look at the double-sized tiles, and in there it's 0 as well, and the game just doesn't draw anything. And then from there, it's the index, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the way this works is there's some kind of property. There is the X offset and Z offset, and then there is the pointer to the STG location. So this actually goes to the STG header. And if we do 0x194870, hit enter, we can see it's right here. And so this is the STG header. This is the low or high, medium, low for the tile, and then the high, medium, and low for the alternate tile. And then there's this other stuff here that we don't know what does yet. This might have some kind of collision information. And then this kind of seems to be a ID that is used internally for the game, but it's mostly there as a confirmation. If you comment this out, nothing actually happens as far as I know. So we can go ahead and comment that out. Hit escape to go out of the emulator, load state, slot 1, and we should be back to normal, or nothing really changed because we have the offset. We have the X or Z location still changed. So that's what I know about tiles so far. What I don't know is how to change between flat tiles and blocky tiles. So there's kind of three kind of tile types. There's completely flat 4 tiles. There are which are 1 by 1. There's 1 by 1 tiles which have like blocks and stuff on top of them, or parts of houses or parts of buildings or slopes on them. And then there's the double side, or there's the larger tiles which are set pieces which are positioned absolutely. So the absolute ones, I kind of know how they work. I don't know how they fit into the grid system exactly yet, which is another thing I need to figure out. But kind of mostly since I have that aside, I'm not really worried about it too much. The thing that I'm looking into right now is how the game kind of handles the floor tiles and the block tiles, and just kind of see how that happens. I think the Apple market might not be the best place to test for this because there are probably no blocky tiles being used. So I should probably head to a different map and do some more testing on that. So I guess we'll do that and see how it goes. So this has been Keon. Safe state update. Lots of updates. So I guess I'll see you guys next time.